Welcome to the June music review. This is all the songs over the course of June. Duh, that's why it's called the June music review. I really wish that I could show you the songs while I do the video, but because of YouTube's very strict copyright rules, I would have to either buy the licensing to the songs, and there's so many songs because we're doing albums, like 4 albums and a few songs by themselves, so it would either be that, me spending money on that, or just not doing it at all. So do it and risk getting a copyright strike. I don't really care about the demonetization situation because I don't get paid for this anyways. I don't really care about that, but I don't want to get a copyright strike because if you get 3, then your channel gets blocked or deleted or whatever, so I just don't want to risk it. So that'll just have to do for now. I know for sure I'm gonna put like a playlist or a link to, not a playlist, but a link to all the songs in the description down below, so that you can hear it before I start the review for that section, or however you want to do it. I don't really know the best way to do this because once again I can't put it in the video, so it makes it a little rough. We're gonna try it out, see how it goes. I wrote a script, so if it looks like I'm reading, it's because I am. I don't really know how to do commentary videos that well. I know that people write scripts for them and then they, film it. I don't really know how that process works though, so I'm just gonna figure out what works best for me. I don't even know why I'm telling you this because you probably don't even care. But okay, let's get into it. I don't know why June was such a heavy month for albums, but for some reason everybody decided to drop an album. Doja, TXT. So by the way, I listen to K-pop, so I like all my spectrums of music, I don't care. So we're gonna be including K-pop. If you don't want to listen to that, too bad, okay? Skip. I don't know. Okay. Is the Chaos Chapter Freeze by TXT. A full album. I think it had like 5 to 10 songs. I don't know how many, but around there. Maybe like 7. Why did they name it like that? Like, why is it so complicated to read? Like, why they gotta be extra? So in my opinion, this album really felt like they had devolved as a group to me. Like, because for the past year in 2020 and even in 2019, the albums that they're releasing, the songs, to me showed that they were a rookie group, but they had this mature sound to them that I feel like a lot of rookie groups lack. But this album just felt like we went back all the way to Blue Orangeade, although I love that song, to Crown. It just, whatever that album is called, it felt like we went back instead of continuing to progress as a group. Especially that Ice Cream song where it has, we all scream for ice cream, stop. Please stop. Why would you do that? I feel like for teenage groups in K-pop, a lot of the times before they become adults, they try to make them, which I didn't think they were gonna do with TXT. I feel like especially recently they try to make it really childish. It just feels like at times, it feels like they're playing into that. There's also that Puma reboot. I don't know what that's about. I think they were trying to recreate the sound of Puma. It even has Puma in the name. I don't know. The name is really long and really abstract. Then moving on to the main title track songs, we have 0 times 1 equals Love Song. Once again, what's wrong with these titles? I don't know if we're trying to be unique or quirky or something, but why? It had an interesting concept, very much reminded me of 2000s back in the day, very much like a rip-off of Fall Out Boy, the way they dressed, like with the black and white outfits and the grungy hair and all that. but I don't know, the song didn't quite progress the way that it should have. Once again, from what I expect from TXT is like beautifully written and produced songs that just have amazing progression. Especially at the end of this song, Love Song, it felt flat. It felt like it didn't really go anywhere. And so I couldn't, like, it sounded good, but I felt like I couldn't get behind it enough to like add to my playlist or anything. Like, I don't want to listen to it over and over again because it just sounds the same, kind of. For the next song, Magic, it was cute. I think it went along with their concept really well. This like white, it wasn't really frozen, but like the space theme, I really like that. For Magic, it was cute, and like I said, it matched the concept of everything, but it just lacked depth. And I mean, it had a little bit of progression, but once again, do I really want to add it to my playlist? Do I really want to listen to it that much? I don't know. It just, for a title track, like that's your main, what everybody's going to be looking at, didn't feel like a title track. I feel like that's the issue with a lot of K-pop songs recently, is that they are all generic and they all are just missing the mark for me. Like, I don't know if anybody else who listens to K-pop feels this exact same way, but it just feels like something's missing from these releases. I'm doing this out of love for TXT because TXT is one of my favorite groups, and it feels like if anybody could come out of the woodwork in this like realm of K-pop songs being boring, it would be them, and they just didn't deliver, and it's very disappointing because I love their sound. I love what they do. To me, they are one of the most creative groups in their field, especially as a rookie group. And when stuff like this happens from groups, it just becomes really, it's just really disappointing. And that's the way I felt about BTS and other groups. I just expect better. The next album is Don't Fight the Feeling by EXO. Now, I absolutely love this album. I love EXO, and I knew that they would not miss, okay? I said it on Instagram. I was like, they're not gonna miss, because they never freaking do. They're the only peoples this year who have delivered stuff that I absolutely love. Baekhyun's album was exceptional, and this album, it's not as good as like Don't Mess Up My Tempo or Obsession, but it is still a lot better than whatever else is coming out right now. So it had those classic EXO vocals, you know. Baekhyun always has to do his part at the end where he goes into the high notes, the head voice, every single time. I don't know if he does in every single song in this album, but I don't know why SM chooses to do that, but they always do that. I'm not complaining though. Okay, that's Baekhyun special. The Baekhyun special, you always gotta hit him with the Baekhyun special. Also, love that Dio is back. That is my boy, okay? That is my boy. I love Dio. Especially with Baekhyun, he really complements the sound of the group. Like I love Obsession, the whole album, but still, you're just missing that puzzle piece that is Dio. I'm just so happy to have Dio back because that man's voice is angelic. It is amazing. And I was also really interested to see, especially just over the past course of this year, how they worked Baekhyun. He released Candy, and then at the top or the end of this year, he released Amusement Park, I believe it was, and then he released his Japanese album, and then he released, and I knew for sure that they were doing this because he was gonna go off to the military, and then he released whatever his album's called. Is that The Light? Is that what his album's called? So it's just really interesting to see how they worked him and how they worked him into this EXO album. And I wonder if it makes me wonder if they won't do another EXO album until he comes back, because they seem to really prioritize him being included or being the main focus. Maybe not the main focus, but being a part of this whole thing. So to move on to Don't Fight the Feeling, the song, it was very upbeat and playful sounding song. I absolutely loved it. Loved the tempo, that fast pace. It reminded me of Power, but as I have written here, it's not, because to me Power felt very overproduced, very slightly annoying. I don't know technical terms. Also, as a disclaimer, I was in choir for like 3 years, but I don't know or remember any of the technical terms at all, so I'm just using regular words. Like, this is just a regular person's review on the whole thing. Yeah, so for a EXO title track, it's not as good as most EXO title tracks, but it is still really good. I think what EXO does really well is variation with their title tracks. They don't just consistently do one thing, which I really appreciate. This was, I guess, a break from that really R&B style that they typically do. It doesn't go over that line of where Power went, which is being too overproduced and just not letting their vocals shine through. I feel like there was a good balance in this song. Another song that I really liked was it's delicious, okay? I really liked Paradise. It just had these soft vocals with this bumping beat, I don't know what that's called. I just say bumping, okay? A beautiful vocal progression, and it felt like it involved all members. To me, this whole entire album, it was slow paced, but it still felt, I don't know, there's just something about that felt like it was a coming home moment. Like, Schumann and Dior are back, and it just felt like family. Like, they didn't need the over the top, super produced songs that go fast and are, go crazy. It didn't really need that, because it did what it needed to do, which was have this moment of bringing them back into the group. The next album is Back of My Mind by Her. Now I have some things to say. Okay, I have some things to say. We're gonna start with things that I liked about this album. So for Back of My Mind, the song, good tempo. Production was that classic R&B with I think it's a snare. It was like a snare and a bump, like that bump, 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 bump. I always like the way that Her does her chords throughout the songs. And I think Ty Dolla $ign's runs throughout it really fit well with her voice. But one criticism I would have is that I feel like when somebody is featured on a song, they're supposed to be just as a part of it, at least to me, just as a part of it as if it is their song. With this feature, it was more just like Ty Dolla $ign doing runs in the background, and not really a partnership. Other songs I really liked were Process, Bloody Waters, and Trauma. For Trauma, Corey Day's flow is absolutely poetic, and it's almost like a spoken word. It's very reminiscent of that old classic hip-hop. Just the way that he delivers his lines, his flow, his rhythm. It's just so poetic and so beautiful and delicious. Okay, he really made the song. If it wasn't for him being on the song, then I wouldn't have liked it. I mean, it's a good song, but I wouldn't have liked it as much, I guess is what I'm trying to say. For Bloody Waters, which is the other song I liked, to me it kind of reminds me of like a Negro spiritual. Okay, if you don't know what that is, you have to be a part of the culture. It's very jazzy, beautiful falsetto throughout, and I think Thundercat was a perfect feature for this style of song. That was perfect selection. But here we get into my criticism of the album overall. It had some good songs, of course, like I just mentioned, But for the most part, what I think that really her in general, I'm scared it's gonna come off the wrong way, but because I really do think that her is an amazing artist. She is so good at what she does. I'm pretty sure she writes all of her songs. She can play musical instruments. She's a beautifully gifted person. I just think that whenever she does albums, it feels like that's quantity over quality. Like past, I don't know, other albums that just have like 5 to 10 songs, but those 5 to 10 songs are amazing. You know, they're exceptional. They have those exceptional moments, that beautiful progression. I feel like that's what I feel like that's what hers album lacks, is that even her last album and her debut album lacked those exceptional moments. A lot of them, she puts like 18 to 20, 15 to 20 songs on her albums, and a lot of them end up sounding super, to me, it's just my opinion, okay? They end up sounding slightly generic, okay? All of them sound relatively the same. They all have the same subject matter. I would rather, as a listener, and this is just me, have fewer songs that are more high quality than have a bunch of songs that sound the same. And even the songs that I like, as I just mentioned, none of them I'm crazy about. Like, none of them make me go stupid. In fact, I had to tell myself when I was listening to this album to do the review or to see what I want to put on my playlist, I had to tell myself that if I think a song is average, or if it just doesn't do it for me, to skip it and to not even give it a chance. Because first of all, there's so many songs on her album, and from my experience with the last album especially, I ended up adding, because all of the songs were good, so I ended up adding like a lot of the songs, and I ended up after a while getting tired of them because they were all about the same thing and they all sounded the same. So I just feel like this is something that she consistently does, and maybe that works for some people, but for me it doesn't. This next review is a really long one. It's Planet Her by Doja. I was really anticipating this release because I absolutely, over these past few months, have loved Doja Cat. First of all, I love the theme, what I name Space Core. Okay, I don't know if that's a thing, but that's just what I name it. It seems like whenever Doja does a theme, she does it. Like, she doesn't have to do it, she does it. All the music videos match this theme, all of them, even the songs themselves deliver this theme. I love how the vocals are mixed with rap, and all of her rap has this amazing flow, amazing rhythm. She always does wordplay. Like, I can't even, I'm not an excitable person, so I can't even express to the level of how much, whenever I'm listening to her songs, how much all of these factors just push it over the edge. She's an amazing example of a female rapper, because she talks about all sort of things, what she does in her album, sexuality, femininity, whatever she wants to freaking talk about, relationships. Like, she talks about all the classic things, but there's something, all of these elements that she's using, she uses in her own way, and it makes it sound so much more unique than somebody else. To get into one of the songs, Kiss Me More, I've already done a review on this, but just to repeat my review since this is a part of the album, it has amazing rhythm and flow. I love her tonality of her voice throughout, especially in the second verse. The wordplay, of course. Love the addition of SZA, because SZA is one of my favorite artists ever. Okay, she's only come out with one album, but I absolutely, or I think she's technically come out with more, but I just freaking love her. Okay, and her being on the song, I feel like she really matched Doja Cat's energy, really matched the vibe of the song. I think her and Doja Cat just really worked well together on this song. Then to go to the next song, Need to Know. Amazingly written and produced. The placement of everything, I think, is what makes Need to Know really great. Something about it just feels very unconventional, which I really like. And having this hard punching last verse to really end it off, it's just so good. Other songs I liked on the album were Options, Ain't-ish, You Right, Woman, and Naked. I would do a whole review on all of those songs, but that would take so long. The album has a great selection of features: The Weeknd, SZA, Ariana Grande. It has just amazing people that I think her voice and her sound really work well together. I like that J.I.D. dude, never even heard of him, but I really like the way that he raps on Options. Amazing. It's an amazing example of how an album should be, especially if this album has 14 songs, so that's quite a few, but especially if you're gonna have that many songs, for it to be that great to me is kind of surprising. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it. I mean, I thought I was gonna like it because I've been really liking what she's putting out, but I don't know, there's just, when there's such a variation of songs, I don't really know what to expect, but this one really took it home. The album to me really solidified Doja Cat as one of my favorite artists, or I think she might be one of my favorite rapper at the moment, definitely. But she's definitely one of my favorite artists at this moment. Her versatility, her rhythm, her flow, her wordplay, baby, it drives me crazy, okay? She creates this experience with her songs that makes them really unique and stand out from every other artist or rapper in her field. She's just doing something that's uniquely her and uniquely her sound. She's created her own path, it feels like. Now we move on to Off Season by J.Cole, which I believe is the last album in this whole video. I don't know if I have anything that's positive to say about this. I think that what J. Cole does best is have this poetic, also, like I was saying for Corday, that really poetic spoken word, like just rapping. Like he doesn't even need a beat to me most of the time. His flow speaks for itself, which is what he typically does, i.e. KOD, which this album possesses all of these qualities, but the production or I don't know, because like I said, I'm not super well versed in music, but the production or some other type of element in this album is keeping it from having those same moments as KOD had, having those same moments of just like where he goes off and you're just like, okay, I'm listening. Like, I feel like when I was listening to it, I wasn't really listening. It just didn't speak to me. For a lot of the songs, not all of them, but a lot of them just felt like he was trying to talk about how great he was as a rapper, which he doesn't need to do. And I think he made that point, or he was trying to make that point in one of the first songs. But for some reason, to me, making a song about how you don't need or shouldn't need to represent how amazing you are as an art, like, it just felt like a turn off. Like, it was just unnecessary. Yeah. Whatever quality or whatever made the whole album seem slightly unappealing to me just allowed for these, because they sounded like really beautifully written songs, it allowed them to become just kind of boring and not stand out. This next song is a song I absolutely freaking love. It's from the My Life album from Mary J. Blige. It's called Be Happy. Love this song so much. It has a bumping beat, because once again, I don't know how else to describe that, with this perfect guitar pairing for the song. The bump, 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 bump. I love that. Okay, it's so good. Okay, at first I really just thought that the song was just an average song. Like, she made up the message of the song, and it was just a really good song with a made-up message, you know? But then I learned that this song actually has very deep context. I learned that the context of the song was about her being in this abusive relationship, and this album and this entire song being her love letter to herself and this message to herself to choose herself. I just thought it was really moving that this entire album and this song were something that helped her come out of this dark place, or maybe not come out of this dark place, but to finally, it helped her see her situation clearly. I think that's beautiful. I think that's something that art can do that nothing else has the power to do. Music, art, visual art, theater, whatever it may be, they all have this power to help you self-reflect, and it's almost like therapy in a way. And I think it's absolutely amazing that she was able to use just writing about her experience as a way to see a situation that was horrible for her clearly. It's such a bittersweet song, because in the song she's realizing that she shouldn't be in this situation, but she still has this doubt in her mind. She still has this lack of acceptance. Especially that opening line of how can I love somebody else if I can't love myself enough to know when it's time to let go. That is, especially the way she delivers that. I can't sing it because I would get possibly copy striked, but it's just the way she delivers it is beautiful. The song is genuine, and it feels like it's carrying the weight of her thoughts, of her soul. It's just this very sad, bittersweet moment for her, of acceptance, of doubt, of every complicated emotion you could have. Because you want to love this person, and you feel like you should be with them. For some reason, your mind keeps telling you should be with them, but you have to realize that in the long run, no matter how much this hurts, you have to choose yourself. It's just an amazing song. Like, why are old songs always the freaking best? I don't, like, why are they so good? Why are they so freaking good? Like, I did a review on What About Your Friends by TLC. Why they hit? Why they hit right here? Like, why they hit? It's so good. The next song is also another song that's newer. I believe it came out in 2018, and it does that same bittersweet type of situation. It's also another genuine song about these artists' experience in their life. Not an abusive relationship, but still another bittersweet, complicated moment for them. It's Purity by A$AP Rocky featuring Frank Ocean. First of all, did not know Frank Ocean could rap. He did so well. I didn't even know that was him. I thought it was A$AP Rocky, because they kind of sound similar whenever they rap. This unconventional pattern of the vocals and of the song, it kind of matches, I feel like, with their conflicting thoughts of how this is supposed to go, of how their life is supposed to go. Because the song touches on, I had to look it up, it touches on their, like, this paradox, I don't know if that's the right word, between their celebrity life and still maintaining sanity, still maintaining themselves, I suppose. Like, how being a celebrity can, like, you can't find peace within that. You can't find peace with your relationships. You can't find peace with yourself. It's just this very complicated thing, because you want to create your art, you want to give that to people, but yet it tears you apart at the same time. Also, it samples a song by Lauryn Hill. I forget what the song is called, but it does that. And this, I'm assuming that her voice is not that deep in the song, but just twisting that, and especially that switch at the end with "You Make My Heart Desire Pure," and I don't know if that's from the original Lauryn Hill song, but the tempo switch with those angelic vocals are just so beautiful. It reminds me of, like, if somebody was just strumming on a guitar by the beach or something, with people, you know, just sitting in front of them, they're just having a good time, just strumming. I don't know, that's just what I picture, you know. So for Frank Ocean's verse, it encapsulates his experience in the spotlight, mentioning the use of drugs and not being able to find, like, trying to find peace in that, or trying to find peace in different vices, but yet still not being able to maintain that or find it in the first place. That it just ends up continuing to tear you apart. And then ASAP's final verse, which is so freaking sad, and you can hear it in the last little section of "I gave you my peace," I believe is what he says. And it's so sad. It just touches you. I even knew what the song was about, and I was still like about to cry. He talks about the passing of his sister, not being able to see his niece in a while. He gives this line of "face to face with demons at a bar stool." Something about that line just really touched me. His verse seems to be more about getting so caught up in his work, getting so caught up in his craft, that he's not able to even spend time with his family. He, in a sense, kind of forgets that. I don't want to say he forgets it, but doesn't have time for it as much. At least this is the way I read it. And then that when his sister dies, that just leaves him with regrets of not being able to be there. I love it whenever artists actually talk about their own experiences. So those are always my favorite songs, when artists talk about themselves, because you get to see a glimpse into their life, and it doesn't feel made up, it doesn't feel fabricated, it feels true and genuine, and that always is so much more powerful than most other things. Than some, song about some heartbreak, but it's not really heartbreak you had to go through, or some type of situation you had to go through. It makes it feel more real. Okay, to bring it into the last two songs for this music review, we have Jeremiah by Brockhampton. I feel like this song was a really good example of using auto-tune correctly, because sometimes auto-tune can make it sound overproduced or slightly annoying, but I feel like with this song, it complemented the sound of the song, because it has these computer tones in the background complemented with the auto-tune. It makes it sound futuristic. I don't know exactly what the song is about, but from what I got from it, it seems like it's about their grind as artists, sacrificing things, sacrificing free time for their life, because they talk about, while you were doing this, I was in the studio or something, or while they were going to sleep, I was in the studio. I believe that's what they say. For the last song, which is this K-pop song that I was talking about, that actually is the first K-pop song in a while that I've really loved, other than the Don't Fight the Feeling song or album. It's Alcohol Free by Twice. I love the song. Did not even expect to like it. I heard it, like a clip of it from a video, but I was like, okay, this is okay. But then I saw a clip of the dance on YouTube, and I went to the music video to watch more of the dance, because typically the music videos show a little bit more of the dance, and I fell in love. That Latin beat, or inspired beat with the guitar, just, it gives us this beachy summer bounce to this song. It's such a contrast to me from More and More, which was so overproduced and so, if I'm gonna be honest, so annoying to listen to. It sounds like that sound of Twice that I fell in love with when I listened to Fancy and Feel Special, especially Feel Special. It has that very mature but still Twice song with the sweet vocals and the playful tone of it. They're talking about falling in love and being drunk on somebody's love, sweet mimosa, pina colada. I really love that. It's just such a cute song while still sounding like they progressed as a group. It feels like they're back on track to that progression that they needed to be. I feel like also this song showcased to me people's vocals that I wouldn't normally listen to. I don't know everybody's name, but like Mina, I believe, isn't Mina somebody in Twice? And there's another person, let me see if I can look her up. Jonghyun. She is the one who I heard in this song and was like, whoa, she has a beautiful voice. I feel like they were very much together as a group in this song. Like, it wasn't just, because typically it's the focus of like Jihyo and Nayeon and what they can do, but it felt like, I keep saying but it felt like, but with this song it is very much them as a group, and I really like that. That's the end. Didn't have much to say about a few songs, but tried to give you my insight. This is the insight of a pleb, you know, a noob. But yeah, that's it. Adianto. Okay, bye.